Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport.
Pickett, she lays it off Teresa Polias. It's an absolute peach. Is driving. What a hit from Melina Reyes. Wow. And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick. 1-0.
And welcome back to another edition of Radio Dub. And if you're seeing this, you're probably like, where is all the co-hosts? I've been through a lot this season, and I am by myself today, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm here, and Oscar will join me later on in the show, but it doesn't matter. If I'm by myself, it means that I need to have a great guest. And this season, there's been a lot of times this season there's a lot of talk about this player is underrated. And you know what? I do think this player is underrated, and this player is not getting the recognition they deserve. So I want to hear from the player themselves, and I'm talking about none other than Charlotte Mclean from Sydney FC. Charlotte, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. That was the nicest intro I think I've ever had.
See, that's what we try to deliver here on Radio Dub. But my thing is, Charlotte, I am a big fan of when people are like, I want all the smoke. I am the best. And I haven't heard it from you, right? And there's been a lot of talk about, is the Sydney FC defence the best in the competition, right? I want to hear, do you think you guys are the best in the competition? We're starting strong, but I want to hear it.
Okay, because you've asked our whole unit, yes.
Okay.
I back us.
Okay.
The numbers don't lie. We've had, the best record for 2 years, so...
No, see, I like that. I like that you're saying the numbers don't lie, because that's always a thing, like some people are like, oh, we're the best, but maybe the numbers aren't, favouring you. But for you guys, the numbers have been telling you guys that you've been great. You've been playing for the club for is this your third season?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me the journey to Sydney FC, because I heard that you were at work one day. I saw this video. You're at work one day, and then Ante called you. Explain that a little bit more to the Radio Dub audience.
Yeah, so I had a bit of a unique path getting into W League. The main sort of way you get in is that from minis and young Matildas, clubs sort of identify the young ones and scout, and then choose those, and then they sort of go in from there. I was never involved in any of that stuff, so I sort of finished school, went to uni, started playing at Sydney Uni in the NPL, and I was in the first grade team, and I was probably the only one that wasn't in W League in that squad. And I could hold my own, so it kind of like lit the spark in my belly that was like, hey, like I can do this too. And then, so I was training with them and playing with them for about 2 years. Then I went to Olympics, and Ante was the coach of the men's team at the time. So he wanted some numbers to fill at the Sydney FC training back when like Alana and Caitlin and Sophia Huerta were there. To prepare for the semi. So I think I did 2 training sessions with them, and I thought, this might be my only chance to get into the league. So I just, gave it everything. And then a couple of days later, when I was at work, he rang me and said he wanted to sign me for the next season. So that was awesome.
See, I can imagine if that happened to me and someone like said I got an important call at work, I would freak out, and I wouldn't know how to handle it, because I would be running around and be like, I need to tell somebody that I need to take this call or I need to reply, but I would be in such a state of panic. How do you, when you're getting that, are you texting your parents going, oh my God, what do I text back? Or are you I'm cool, calm, collected, I'm a centre back, I've got this? How is that?
I definitely wasn't cool, calm and collected. Ante's voicemail was so Ante, if you know him, he's so chill, low key. It was just hey, I'm just, just like the Sydney FC. He didn't say he was I'm just the Sydney FC coach. just can you just give me a call back whenever you're free. Just want to talk about next season. I was like, and so then, and then I like panicked and like told my manager, I was like, I need to go and make this call. I didn't even like tell my parents or anything yet. I just like straight away rang him back. So I was like, what if he changes his mind?
No, see, this, when you said that, that clocks in my head too, because I'd be like, I need to reply back so quickly, because if I don't reply back in the next 30 seconds, they're going to call the next player because they're going to think I'm not interested, which would set me off. But no, that's I'm very happy that Ante got you into the fold at Sydney FC, because you are doing an incredible job this season. And that defence, that team itself is relatively young, considering if you take back the past of Sydney FC teams and stuff like that. What do you think that's been able to make that group so connected and play so well?
I mean, I think it obviously starts with Ante. He does an amazing job at creating a really like loving, caring, supportive environment. You know, we all get on so well, like on and off the field. But he really like fosters that. He, you know, makes sure everyone's positive all the time with one another, and we just like all believe in each other so much that it, you know, instills that confidence within ourselves.
No, I see. I like to hear that. I like to hear positivity in the competition and everyone supporting each other. And for a side that if you guys have got so close, you've won the premiership and you've been so close to winning it all. And how do you guys keep that motivation? Because this year, I'm assuming the goal has been, we want to get one better than we did last year and get that grand final, because you guys have been so close. How do you step into this season? What's the mindset like?
Yeah, I think that was definitely after losing that second grand final, that really hurt. And so I think originally it was sort of, we were all focused on that championship, but then we actually realised that no team's ever done the 3 consecutive premierships before. So that's actually shifted back to that. At the start of the season, we said, you know, that's an amazing achievement, and one, you know, that would be really hard to break. So that's definitely where we're focusing. And then obviously as well the double, because the double, Ante's never done the double, so that would be really cool as well. What's the celebration going to be like if you guys do the double? Because I imagine, I know you're saying like the three premierships in a row, that's cool. And of course the celebrations are going to be amazing. But if you manage the double, and I don't want to, we don't want to get too far in the future, because obviously you are staying present, you got Canberra on the weekend. But could you like, is there like in your back of your mind, you're going, these celebrations are going to be wild. We are about to live it up. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be safe, would it?
It might not be, but like, is that the goal? Like, I know you're saying the premiership and stuff like that, but you guys have been so good this year and have really been putting teams away and I think a lot of times watching Sydney FC, maybe there are individual players who are get all the highlight, but I think this season, hearing a lot of the rhetoric from the players and stuff, you guys are really talking about the collective and talking, because I think I saw Charlie speak this afternoon about how you guys have got the best defence, best midfield and best forward line, and really it's really important that each individual aspect of your team is appreciated. How are you guys balancing all that and being able to keep that level of competition in the squad so you guys continue to be better and better?
I don't know. I think maybe it's just kind of, we do a really good job of like, once there's a lot of like outside noise, but we do a really good job of dropping that once we're in the training ground, in the sheds, on game day, and we actually all really support one another at dropping it and not listening to that external noise, whether it be someone's getting recognition and someone's not. Like, we as a team, we do a really good job of just getting around each other and just being like, you know, don't worry about that, or, you know, just focus on what's in front. Because it can also be like, yes, like getting praise is awesome, but it actually adds this level of pressure that, especially as a young player, that, you know, you're not used to playing with, the knowing that people's eyes are on you and people's eyes are ready to go, oh, she's not as good as everyone's saying. So I think we do a really good job of just supporting one another and understanding that, you know, with praise comes a lot of pressure and a lot more anxiety. than what people might expect.
No, I can imagine. And for a side that's continued to be one of the best in the competition, I can imagine the noise would be a lot. And for you and your journey into women's football, I think a lot of times we see young footballers get in really, really early. We see players getting in like 14, 15, 16. You took a little bit longer than maybe a lot of people typically get into the competition. What do you think that was down to? Like you getting into the competition a little bit later? Which you're 20, so you're 17, so like it's not really that big difference, but like, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it is that I wasn't involved in like young Matildas, and that's sort of how those young ones get scouted. A lot of W League teams will look at the young Matildas and go, oh, that young one I'm gonna like foster them and then bring them in as they get older. And so I think, like that was sort of where I didn't get brought into at a young age, and then I just got lucky in NPL that Ante wanted to take a chance on me. But I have no regrets. Like I love that I came in when I did. Like I've had the most amazing experience. Like, you know, not many people get to come into the league and win consecutive premierships and get to, you know, play consistently. So, and play with such amazing teammates and under such an amazing coach. So I'm really happy. Like I do think everything happens for a reason. I think I came in when I was meant to come in.
Do you think it's made you better having to go through all those adversities like early on? Like, as I said, you're only 22. So like, it's still like, it's so weird. It's such a weird thing to talk about, like, because there's lots of people who have played like so many seasons, but you are still very, very young. But those adversities that you faced early on, do you think that's made you a better player and made you more confident in your game?
Yeah, it's definitely made me more resilient, I would say. I think that I can, just really appreciate like where I am now, and just know like how much of a blessing it is to be in this league and never take anything for granted. And I would definitely say it's made me more resilient. I would say having those early bumps, I'm sure that it would help you develop your game. And going to your game, what do you think is the thing that has gotten better like so quickly over the time that you've been really impressed with yourself, being like, oh, this part of my game, if I look back like 3 seasons ago, I didn't have this? Or what's something that you've really worked on and that you're really proud to have like made better in your game? I would definitely say maybe in terms of maybe mentality, confidence. If you had told me like 3 years ago, before I'd started, my first training session with Sydney, that I would be playing centre back for, a premiership winning team, like it's a lot of responsibility. So in that, with that, you have to be quite confident, and it's, a lot of weight on your shoulders. So yeah, definitely confidence would probably be the biggest one. And then maybe some communication, again, like the organising and the marshalling of the plan and of the team.
See, I've got to ask this because I imagine when you watch a game at home, you hear the commentators. So you don't really, sometimes you don't get to hear how the players are on the ground. But who's the loudest person on the ground? Like, who is it like, can we turn the volume down for her, please? Because she's so loud. But who's the quietest on the park?
Oh, that's a good question. From my team?
Yeah. From your team.
Oh, it's hard. I'm so far away, like, because I'm so far away from the front line, for example.
No, Charlotte,
like, I would say I never hear them.
See what you've done there, Charlotte? That's what you're saying, that you guys score so many goals that the ball's never near you. See, I don't like that. I like that, but I don't like that. So you're telling me...
No, that's not what I mean.
I'm kidding. Go. Please finish your answer.
No, like, as in, I'm sort of worried. I'm like, if I can't think of anyone, like, am I the problem? Am I too loud? No, maybe Jada.
Maybe Jada? Okay. Maybe
I would say Jada's the loudest.
Maybe you guys should do that TikTok trend where it's like, am I the problem? But it's like everybody, you find out who it is. But
who yells the most?
But that's no. See, maybe it is you, Charlotte. Maybe because you can't hear anybody else. Is it Nat? Is Nat Tobin, or is she like pretty quiet out there as a centre back partner?
Oh no, Nat definitely. No, that definitely, yeah. Not, but you wouldn't say yells, just instructs.
Yeah.
I'd say it has to be Jada.
Okay, 100%
Yeah.
Jada. Okay. And
Yeah.
and with you and Nat and that centre back partnership, there are a lot of like really good centre back partnerships. You know, I think they're a really great foundation for a team, and you can tell a lot about a team based on how good that centre back partnership and how much they cover and they trust each other and their movement. How have you and Nat been able to create such a solid defensive partnership to able to help the other fullbacks as well, and in terms of the movement as a squad?
Yeah. Me and Nat have a really good relationship off the field. We care for each other a lot, and I think that's really reflected on the field. Like, no matter what, I'll always want to come and help Nat, and vice versa. And I do think we're very similar players. We read the game in a similar way. There'll often be times when I'll do something knowing that Nat will be there, and like she just always is. And so, yeah, and I think that we have the same philosophy about defending, about positioning. And so I think it's just like a bit of luck that we both have that same philosophy and read the game in a similar way, and then also have a really, really good relationship.
No, absolutely. And, coming onto Radio Dub, it wouldn't be Radio Dub interview if we didn't ask the key fundamental, like the really big questions, okay? And the big questions are music, okay? Food, okay? And for me today, I've changed up one of the things, and it's about pets and about animals per se, okay? So we'll start with the animals topic. I've heard that you're a fan of cats. Now, I don't want to hold that against you because I can't stand them. I think they are such scary animals, okay? I need you to explain to me why cats are such, why you like cats so much.
No, I mean, I have a dog.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a cat. Okay. So I feel like that would be rude to say that I like dogs more, like cats more. I definitely like dogs more, but I can appreciate a cat. Like, why? I can appreciate...
Why? Explain this to me, because one of my best friends, she's like, I'm terrified of her cats. Like, I'm like, why are they coming near me? Why can I not feel what the energy that they're bringing towards me? Whereas a dog, you can feel, you like, oh, if it's happy, you know it. If it's like angry at you, you know it. Cats, too mysterious. I don't like it.
I think it's the chase of the cat. Like, if you get, like, they're so sassy, but if you get like a little bit of a reaction, a little bit of emotion, a little bit of affection from a cat, it like means so much because it's so rare.
I don't
like
know.
Maybe it's just
I'm
like the
prize.
chase.
I'm the prize. The cat is not the prize. I'm the prize. I don't like that. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But what's your dog's name? What type of dog do you have, and what's your dog's name?
I have a dog called Nala, and she's a King Charles Cavalier. She's very cute. She's a bit sassy. She's a bit of a cat, actually.
Okay, well, let's forget that bit. I like that you named it Nala. Nala's a great name. Lion King. I'm assuming you're a massive Lion King fan then.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that was shaky, Charlotte. I don't know what that was. Yeah. That was a bit shaky. I didn't like that at all. We need to be confident when we're talking about the Lion King, please.
I just thought you might quiz me on the Lion King. No. I actually don't know that much.
No. We like it as a movie, but we don't remember the key aspects, okay? We're not trying to quiz anybody here. And in terms of music, okay, let's get to music. What's on the pre-game playlist? What are we listening to? What's getting us hyped? What are we listening to after a win?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, Cuff It comes on a lot.
Great. Sensation. We're done, everybody. Interview's finished. She's got it.
It is an absolute banger. Like, that is just that could go on repeat. What else is there? I know this is random and it's kind of old, but I really like listening to like Industry Baby before I play. That's always the first song I put on.
No, it's catchy, right?
Because it says champions, and I'm like, oh, like I'm a champ. Like, we're gonna be champions. So like, yeah, I think that's good.
It's super catchy though. It's like one of those songs. It's like it's not like some like spectacular song, but I hear it and I'm like, I can't help but like get into it. And I'm like, Lil Nas X has done something here. It's a good song. It's a good song.
Yeah, anything like that sort of old school. Fun vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there like the Sydney FC girls, do you guys have like a team song?
The one we put on before we go out, like the last song that Macca plays every time, and this has been like this like since I've been there, so for the last 3 years, is like Never Say Never by Justin Bieber. And the other boy, James Smith.
Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. That's oh my god.
Which is quite funny.
I wasn't expecting that. It's taken me a little bit by surprise, that song.
Yeah, it's a bit rogue.
It's a banger. It's a banger. And the rap one, let's not act like we all didn't know the rap when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, let's not act like that. But I didn't realise that Mackenzie Hawkesby, that was what was going on her playlist. But hey, if it works for the squad, it works.
Yeah. And we won our first game with it, and then it just stuck, and now we can't get rid of it. So it happens.
That works. And finally, food. That's what we love on Radio Dub. What's a snack that's underrated that you were like, why is nobody on this? Like, what's everybody else doing?
A snack?
Yeah. Snack or food, anything.
A healthy snack?
No, it could be anything.
No, okay. Well, I'm
a healthy program. Please be serious.
Okay. I'm a chips person. Like, I love chips.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bit of I love chippies. Like, on the plane, whenever we're traveling, I'll always have chips.
Yeah.
So that's my snack. My favorite food would be sushi. I would say sushi. Yeah. I have sushi for lunch every day. Like, I make a little sushi bowl for lunch every day.
No, I can get that. I can respect sushi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a massive fan, but I get why people like it. I really, really get it.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
Charlotte, I want to say thank you for joining us on Radio Dub. I really, really appreciated you taking the time out of your day, and good luck with your Canberra game, because I'm actually calling that game for Paramount Plus. So good luck to the Sydney FC girls and the Canberra girls. I'm not going for anybody. I just want good football. But Charlotte said on the program, in case you guys missed it, that she doesn't see the ball very often because it's so far up the front because they're always scoring.
I did not.
That's what she said. But no, good luck on the weekend.
I did not say.
No, she didn't. I am lying. I'm lying. But Charlotte, thank you for joining us on the show, and we will head to
Career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Pickett, she lays it off Teresa Polias. It's an absolute peach. Is driving.
on Radio Dub. You just saw, I spoke to Charlotte Mclean earlier when Oscar wasn't here, but it's okay. But Oscar I don't know, maybe like you're a Phantom of the Opera, like you're kind of there but kind of not there.
Very topical.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
You know I'm a fan of musicals, Oscar. You know this.
100%.
You know
Yeah,
this.
no. I'll take it.
It's a great musical. It's one of the most successful ones, so it's okay. It's a good reference. But no, Oscar, thank you for finally returning to F&R. You have been busy. You've been seeing your family.
Oh yeah, I've been doing
Sydney,
lots of things.
In your multiple estates.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
That's right.
It's nice, Oscar. I like that for you. But speaking to Charlotte Mclean earlier, if you did miss that, we will upload everything onto every single platform possible. You'll find us.
All of them.
All of them. You'll find them somewhere. But thank you for joining us, Radio Dub, here on FNR. And in a little bit, we will speak to the head coach of the Perth Glory A-League women's side, Alex Epakis, who his side had a great win on the weekend. I was calling that game, actually.
Yeah.
Some NPL Victoria representation. You know, Oscar, we love some NPL Victoria representation.
It's going to be the main topic when we're talking to Alex.
Come on,
Tell me about all of your NPL Victoria players, yeah.
But I will say, like, Perth have got some really great talents. They got the gold medal winner in Sophia Sokalis, who had a great game on the weekend. Jancheski, who scored. What a free kick.
What a goal.
It took me by surprise, if you can tell in the commentary.
Yeah.
It did take me by surprise. I didn't realise. I was not expecting that, but I should have expected that. I should have known better. Because we've seen her do it. I don't know, not necessarily for the set pieces, but those long-range efforts, she is a player she's not afraid to take those sort of shots. But have you been catching up on the dub recently, Oscar? Been saying it?
Absolutely, and I think that I think the last couple of weeks have been really good in terms of kind of reinforcing how tight the competition is. It's looked like we've had, particularly Western United out on top, and then the top fours looked pretty well decided, and it still kind of does, but we've kind of seen flashes of brilliance from the likes of Perth, obviously, Western Sydney, Brisbane have put together a few good results. They haven't always looked great in doing it, but they just kind of evened out the competition a bit more, which I think is good for the health of the comp.
It certainly has, and I think the run-in to the finals will be a very interesting one, and I think it leaves everybody even more excited. Well, it does. I'm going to speak for myself in this moment, but it makes me more excited about next season, thinking we'll have 6 teams heading into finals when we see the arrival of the Mariners A-League women's side, because Western United, based on their last 2 results, they're looking a little bit shaky. They've had such a strong start, so it'll be interesting to see, have they banked enough points if they can't turn their form around to get them into finals. And the likes of Perth, who with Alex Epakis we're going to speak to soon, they are 2 games behind a lot of teams at the moment. They've only played 10 games so far this season, and they're actually very, very close to potentially making the finals. So it'd be interesting to see, like, the likes of Canberra, Brisbane. I think for Canberra, though, just really quickly, they must be kicking themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because seeing Western United wobble, had they not had those 2 really big losses to, who was it? Western United. I forget the team they lost to first.
Oh, wasn't it Wellington?
Wellington, yes. Wellington, that's who started it. Had they not lost those 2 games, they'd probably be favourites to potentially take Western United, because I do think that Western United are the most shaky of the 4 sides currently.
Do you? Okay.
Why? Who do you think?
Well, I think it'll be really interesting to see when we see the internationals leave, which teams adjust the best and which teams struggle. We're talking about the likes of Alex Chidiac from Melbourne Victory potentially or likely not featuring, and like, if Chids leaves, that's a major blow to Victory, I think, because she's been probably their best player all season. Chloe Lagazo in Western United, obviously she hasn't featured as much, but we've already seen the impact of losing Jess McDonald.
But the thing is, for Western United, they've almost lost a lot of their big internationals have already gone. I think Melbourne City, I'm not quite sure what's up.
Obviously, Cote Rojas left,
but she's coming back. So I'm interested to see, are there any of their other internationals heading off? I can't quite remember in this moment, but somebody will let us know, and somebody tells me we said something wrong today. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. It happens. We are not perfect. We move. Yeah. Exactly. We move. But when you're looking at, like, this weekend's fixtures, if you want to bring them up for me really quickly, Oscar.
Yeah.
We've got Canberra taking on Sydney, which would be a really interesting contest because if Canberra are able to get a win in that game, which would be difficult because Sydney are probably the most informed side in the competition, I would say.
So, yeah.
Where does that leave them if Western United lose again to Melbourne City?
I'm interested in your fixing on Western United. I mean, they've got a 6-point lead over Victory, for example. Surely you'd consider Victory more vulnerable than Mark Torcaso's side in that instance.
Well, Victory have played 12 games, but the problem is that I believe
Western United are finishing top 4.
No, I think that they've secured enough points. I think it'll be very close. I'm not quite sure how it'll go. But my thing about Western United, though, is that they don't have the experience per se that a side like Melbourne Victory do into the run into finals. They don't. And Jeff Hopkins is a very experienced coach, so it'd be interesting to see how that all plays out. But you know whose side are firmly in the race to make the run into the finals and potentially take one of those top 4 spots.
And if anyone knows the weaknesses of Western United,
exactly.
I think we're about to speak to someone who can give us some great insight.
And that is none other than Alex Epakis, the head coach of the Perth Glory A-League women's side. Alex, thank you for joining us, and how are you?
No, my pleasure. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Now, Alex, before we head into talking about the games, it seems that maybe this season you've potentially become a fashion icon because I see the Perth Glory socials constantly talking about your outfit choices. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm holding my head in my hands at the moment. Look, I'm a football coach, and I do my best every day to be the best coach that I can and to help the team win games, and that's always my focus. I know that our media manager Gareth gets very excited when I come to match day, and he certainly puts an effort to communicate that out into the public. And if it's gaining a bit of momentum and it's putting some attention onto the football team without a distraction, then great. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'd much rather people talk about my coaching capacity as opposed to anything else.
Well, see, Alex, this is the thing, right? I have a motto, and it's called dress well, coach well, and then your team plays well. So maybe that's something that you guys need to think about. Maybe that is, if Alex Epakis comes in and he's got, what's the brand that they keep always talk about? I'm not quite sure. I know the logo, but I can't exactly remember the brand.
You always talk about it.
I know. The Perth Glory socials. I'm up with the socials. But maybe do you believe in that philosophy? Dress well, coach well, then play well.
The players do everything. Playing well is the first part through good preparation, and the rest isn't as relevant in my opinion anyway. But I'm glad that there's talking points about Perth Glory as a team, because sometimes I feel like the playing group and the team itself could always get more positive coverage. So the fact that there's something, I'm sure we'll take it.
Well, look, we'll follow your lead, and we'll actually talk a little bit about some football as well, Alex. I mean, on a similar note though to the vibes that you're bringing in terms of your fashion statements, Perth Glory as a team, there's a lot of good vibes running around. You've got a lot of really young, talented, often unproven players. What's that recruitment philosophy been for you at the club in bringing in these kinds of players?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm really happy to hear that people are watching the team and feeling those good vibes, and that's a credit to the playing group and the staff that we have, because for me, my philosophy is always about coaching a team that I would enjoy to watch if I was sitting in the grandstand and not affiliated with that group. I'd always want to watch a game that's exciting and a team that's trying to win a game. And, that's what we instill with this group. And the fact that we've got a really nice mix of young players and experienced players, it allows us to sort of play with that freedom and with that focus on, pushing the envelope in terms of trying to get results when people don't necessarily expect us to. We've had some really exciting performances this season, and some have fallen just a little bit short from getting 3 points. And in some cases, we have gotten the 3 points, like the most recent fixture. But for me, it was about bringing in players that could, firstly were underutilised at their clubs and who were craving an opportunity. I think that's a big thing for me, because my own coaching sort of journey, I craved opportunity, and I was waiting for an opportunity to get a chance and really show what I can do. And I believe that when you have players or people in that position, they're always going to go above and beyond. And we're seeing that with the players that we've brought in this season. And then we also needed these players to have a certain level of technical and tactical quality. And then I was sure enough in my own process that I could get the best out of them and help them develop regardless of what others thought of them at previous clubs.
And look, here at FNR, I can't resist. I have to get into the question. We are staunch proponents of NPL Victoria propaganda. It's very easy to see that part of, I guess, a core group of those players have come from the NPL here in Victoria. And I guess 2 questions for you. Number one, why is NPL Victoria the best NPL in the country? And then I guess secondly, has bringing in those players from the same part of playing in the same state, kind of with those connections, been part of the idea as well, kind of those players who already have those relationships or have that similar journey?
Yeah, it's some good questions there. Coming from Sydney and from New South Wales, I won't answer the first part of that question.
That's because he knows the answer, Oscar. Yeah. He knows, Oscar. He knows the answer.
Played the fifth.
The second part of the question is a really good one. And I think that, for me, it wasn't so much about bringing a network of players in who knew each other. That's just been a very pleasant coincidence within the whole process. For me, it was about bringing in players who fitted the style of play. And as I mentioned, we're craving an opportunity. And I had seen enough of those players throughout my sort of scouting in between the first and second season, where I knew we needed to go about our recruitment in a unique way, in a really quick and decisive way as well. We made a lot of signings last season very early on in the piece. Look, I put myself out there, I'm not going to lie. I spent a lot of time in Melbourne watching games, and I'm glad I did, because I was able to come across your Alanas, your Sarahs, Sophias, Claudias, et cetera. We've built the talent ID network, quite significantly. And there's other players on the radar across other states who I can see, potentially fitting into the style of player that I want. And, we want to bring the best players possible, and I want to work with the best players possible. So everyone who can show what they do is close to us, then they're going to be an option.
And I wanted to just touch on a little bit about scouting. And in the women's game, how does the scouting go about? Is it predominantly focusing on just watching NPL talent, or is for Perth Glory per se, is there a big focus on trying to get international talent and really trying to find gems that other clubs may have overlooked?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, being a really proud West Australian team, we certainly want to be developing local talent and developing the pathways for that to happen. That's a really significant step, and I think should be an important step for any club. The fact that we're quite isolated from the East Coast as well means that, we would love to draw upon our own pool of players from our own pathways. But, we also have to mix the idea of being competitive week in, week out with the best teams. So, as much as possible, we try and find that sweet spot, and I think we're in it currently. But, ultimately we're going to put a team together that we're proud of, that excites us and excites the members and fans that support us.
And of course, Alex, coming into the Perth Glory post, it was off of the back of a couple of really difficult years for the club, and I guess to turn that around the way that you have by creating what seems to be a really cohesive group that's competitive on a week by week basis, I guess. How have you approached I guess, changing the mentality of the club so that you can achieve this level of competitiveness, and how much of that do you put down to the players you brought in?
Another great question. When I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to come here, I was very aware of what the challenges would look like. But I knew that it was the right project for me. I was coming off the back of, quite a bit of success in the NPL in New South Wales, and I really wanted to get my hands dirty with a project that was going to test me and get me out of my comfort zone. And I couldn't think of anything better than the opportunity that was presented over here in Perth, and I've loved it. I think the reality is that those types of things take time, and that first season, there was certainly some dark moments, but they were also learning moments in themselves. And while at the time it might not have felt that way for the group, I was really certain that, those dark moments were going to help us in the future. And that's certainly been the case. Season 2 and so far through season 3, we have, turned around what we're doing. And a lot of that is due to the playing group really buying into the vision, and also me buying into what they can bring to the team, and ensuring that we've got the right type of characters mentally as well, who can drive the team to be a winning team and to shift the culture to us being a winning culture. And we've done it in our way. We haven't followed anyone else. We haven't copied anyone else. We've done it in a progressive, steady and sustainable way. And, that's something that I'm proud of. And I watch this team play and work with these players that I'm so fortunate to do. I just see it's us, and it's authentic and it's real. And then as a result of that, we are turning into a really competitive and exciting outfit to watch.
You certainly are. And for me, last season, I thought that Perth were one of the most exciting teams, and we're really unlucky to miss out on finals and finishing in 5th place. Can you take us back to last season? What are your thoughts? Obviously, because you must have been incredibly proud of the squad and how far they had come to finish in 5th. But I'm assuming there was a little part of disappointment that you just narrowly missed out on finals.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. We were in a really difficult position because if you recall, we played our first 2 matches against Brisbane, home and away, and we got 2 really important wins there. And then we had to have a break for close to 4 weeks as a result of the COVID restrictions while everyone else kept playing. And then we also had to move to Sydney for, just over 3 months and not play any home games. And again, that was all obstacles that we had encountered in the first season, but probably actually even harder in the second season, which we were hoping to avoid. But the fact that we were able to rally together as a family and, use those challenges as motivation and spend a lot of time together as a group, I think that really played a part in what ended up being a really successful season, and players really putting on a fantastic showing on an individual level as well. We were immensely proud, to finish the season in the way in which we did and have the results that we did. But we certainly felt we felt we're a bit hard done by to miss out finals on, goal difference, because I think that we certainly could have given the finals a shake up if we were in that mix, but we weren't, and that's just the reality of it. And then we left that season with a lot of motivation for this season. And while we're looking at a run in home now for this current season, we're using, again, that motivation, knowing that we came very close last year despite the challenges, and giving us that confidence that we can go and do something similar this year. And we certainly need to continue our run and continue our form from what we're doing to give us that chance. But I'm really optimistic about that.
Yeah, and you speak about how, rallying around and pulling things together now this season. Of course, the results have finally started to come in the last few days, or the last few weeks, I should say. What in your mind's changed so that these results are finally turning? Because they weren't going the wrong way by significant margins up until this point, but it's just started to fall in your favour a bit more.
I'd agree with that. I think that the first, part of the season, we had some really good performances and perhaps got some points, but maybe just, 1 or 2 results that I think we could have gone the other way and fell for us as opposed to getting a draw. It was was an okay start, but we didn't set the world alight, just from our own point of view, our own standards, not from anyone externally. We knew that we were capable of more. And I think that as times progress, teams become more cohesive again. And we found that sweet spot now, and people have got clarity in what their jobs are, and the players are feeling really confident in our game. And we're also training really well. So all of those things point in the right direction, and then it's just about actioning it on game day. And last week was a really good reflection of that. And now we're acknowledging that, but we're also really focused on the next match and the match after that, and making sure we don't get too far ahead of ourselves.
And I totally hear that you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, but it's really difficult looking ahead at your upcoming schedules not to, I think, get excited from a Perth perspective, because you see the list of teams and not seeing any top 6 teams until the third last game of the season. So, top 4 teams, I should say, to the last 3 games of the season. So it's looking like a really promising run where if your side can continue to perform at this level, are you backing them to make a charge towards the top 4 at the end?
Look, I would say that it doesn't matter who we play. We showed the other day that we can go to Ballarat and outperform the team that's coming first. And they're first for a reason. They've been great this season, Western, and credit to them. But on the other side, I'm equally confident that my players are able to kick it with the best and outperform them. So I'm not really looking at the second half of the season and seeing where the clubs that we're playing are on the table. I'm just looking at each game as an opportunity for us to showcase to ourselves what we're capable of. And I will always back the players to perform against any team, regardless if it's the team coming first or at the bottom. We're just there to do our business and do it as efficiently as we can.
And Alex, with such a young squad, I can imagine that when things weren't going right this season, it must have been difficult and to keep everyone's heads up and things like that. But as a coach, how do you manage the squad to keep them motivated? And I want to also ask about that gap that you guys have had just before this Western United game, because you didn't play that Sydney FC game. Did that allow you guys to reset and just really just take a moment to go, okay, this is where we are and this is where we need to go?
Yeah, again, great questions. Look, I think ultimately to answer the first part of that question, we're very fortunate to have a strong leadership group. Tash Rigby, Kim Carroll, etc. These are players who have, had a number of seasons in the competition and who we've got a really strong, working relationship with, and they're really aware in the direction we're going as a team. So when a few things don't go the way that we would have hoped, they play a really critical part in managing the playing group. And then my job and the staff's job is just to continue to outline the positive things that we're doing, but also be really clear on the areas that we need to be better and have those really open and honest conversations. There was just a few minor moments in some games that we just didn't execute things as well as what was required, and as a result of that, we didn't walk away with wins. There's no point keeping that information in our pockets. We just got to make sure we give the players all the information and all the tools possible to be the best versions of themselves, while keeping them excited about what we can achieve, even when things aren't going 100% our way. And the leadership group plays a really key part in that. And I'm fortunate to have, those senior players to assist with that.
Well, Alex, one more question from me. Talking about, the squad, the young players, the experienced players, I was just wondering if I could get you to pick out for me one player.
This is the professional coach. He's not gonna pick out one player like that.
No, I'm going to try anyway. Okay. I'm going to say one player whose growth and improvement this season has impressed you as much as anyone, shall we say? I won't make you pick a favourite, but one player who's really taken your eye as someone who's grown a lot throughout the current campaign.
We're really fortunate because we've got so many young, talented players, and they're all developing in their own way. Development's not linear. It's always ebbs and flows and twists and turns. So it's hard to always put your finger on one player in particular. Nonetheless, I think that whilst I could name all of them, one player that's really stood out for me at the moment is the form and consistency of Sofia Sakalis. And she's really progressed her game now because we've always known her as a technical attacking player. But now she's developing into a player that can play in all the moments, in defence, in transition, in attack. And, you know, she's playing in a position a little bit, you know, different to what she's normally been accustomed to. She's playing out wide and we've got our reasons for that. But, yeah, she's been really focused on her own journey. But what I would say is that her positive development in recent months has also been a result of the other younger players also having the same mindset. And she surrounds herself with these players who, like her, are trying to achieve special things with their career. So, you know, there's so many in our club. I could name the whole team almost, but, you know, all the players come in with a hunger to be better. And that's just the way that we operate. And Soph and the other players get the benefit from being around like-minded people.
No, and absolutely. See, Oscar, he didn't say that it was Forza MPL Victoria, but I feel like I heard that in Alex's voice.
I appreciated the messaging that was underpinning the answer. Yeah,
talking about Sophia's cars, because we are big fans of her on here on the podcast. But I want to just quickly go back to that game against Western United on the weekend. What was the feeling like heading into the game, but also after the game? Was it a feeling of relief, being like, all this hard work we've put together and we are really making a statement to the rest of the league saying we are here and we are not to be underestimated and we certainly can make top four?
Yeah, and you know, I think I just recall now, I didn't answer that second part of your other question, which was how did I cope and how did we cope with that break? You know, having that break where the APL made the decision to not allow us to play for a few weeks was a difficult one, and we had to manage that expectation of the players because, you know, we're sitting on our couches watching everyone else play, and for you know, one reason or another, we're not playing. That was going to be difficult after a positive result a few weeks ago against Wellington. So what we had to do was ensure that we, you know, flipped the thinking and made sure that we used the time off to focus on us and identify what we're doing well and focus on what we can be doing better. And we definitely did that during the break, and we trained very hard. It was like a mini pre-season hit out. And then as a result of that, we were going into that Western game knowing that we had trained harder than any other team over the last couple of weeks. And we were organised. We looked really comfortable in all moments of the game. And the performance itself was a really special one, probably up there with one of my highlights in my coaching career to date. And purely because every player contributed. And it was a really positive trip. But what we need to make sure is that we manage that positivity and that form now to help us in the next game and the game after that, because the result was great, but we're always worried about what the next week is as well. So, yeah, whilst we're stoked with where we're at currently, we just need to capitalise on our form and make sure that the players are not losing track of what we can achieve for the remainder of the season.
Now, Alex, I want to just talk about that goal from Alana Jancheski, because that goal was spectacular. Now, has she been doing that in training? And did you know when you subbed all those players on that it was like you guys were like, you were really confident heading into the final moments of that game?
Look, to answer your question regarding Alana, like it was a special goal, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud. It was a really proud moment seeing that ball in the back of the net, not just obviously from a team perspective, from a personal point of view. She works very hard on her striking and shooting ability. And as far as I'm concerned, she's one of the best strikers, attacking players in the competition. When she's got time and space with the ball in and around the 18 yards, she's deadly. And we were very fortunate as a team that she was able to come on in that moment, like she has in other moments this season, and just seize the opportunity. So I can't speak highly enough of what she's able to do and how talented she is with the ball. She does do it at training all the time, so it didn't really shock me. But yeah, look, I think, you know, ultimately we always fill the bench
See, Alex is such a popular man that people are trying to contact him. This is what's happening, yeah? See, Alex, we don't blame you. It's too popular. It's what happens when you become a good A-League women's coach.
One of the promising young coaches in Australia.
People it happens.
All day, every day.
You're too kind. No, my apologies for that.
No, it's okay.
But back to the question with our, we call them game changers, and we tend to have attacking options off the bench. That's just the way I like to approach the game. So when we do put players on, we expect them to go on and make a difference. And, they certainly did that on this occasion. All the players that came on helped us get that result. When it works, it looks great. And, if it doesn't, then it's totally on me as well. But on this instance, the players did really well. And as I said, it was a collective performance to get that result.
It certainly wasn't, and it's great to see the Perth Glory side flying, and I think it's also great to acknowledge the fact that you guys are playing at home this season, and I think that it must make a massive difference to your squad and the morale that they're able to be around their family and friends. Is that probably a correct assessment, Alex?
Yeah, 100%. I've up until this season, I'd been the Perth Glory coach for 2 years and hardly had any experience playing at home in Perth. So even for me on a personal level, to have our members and fans behind us is something that's special to me. And even more so for the local players who get to play in front of their family and friends. And, it's an isolated club that we're at. So when opposition teams come over here, we try and create an environment where we know we have a great advantage if we utilise it. And we certainly are at the moment. I know each home game we've had so far, it's been a really great, vibe around it, and there's been a lot of support there for the players, and they thrive off that. And the players deserve all the support and fans that are attending the game to get behind them that they can get, because, I think it's exciting to watch our team play, and as I said, the players deserve to have that feeling.
Well, Alex, we really want to thank you for joining us on the show this evening. And we've learned a lot about the Perth Glory side. We've learned that Alex Epakis, it doesn't try to be a fashion icon. It's just the media manager,
It just
Gareth.
happens.
It's just media manager Gareth
who's
pushing this narrative. But also his side is, they're doing some great work, and good luck for the rest of the way, and see if you guys can make the finals, because I think the finals race is certainly heating up, and I think all of us Dub fans are looking forward to the rest of the season.
No, my pleasure, guys. Appreciate the support and appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Thank you, Alex. And see, Lockie, oh my goodness. Geez. No. See, I apologise. I apologise. Oscar Rutherford. Lockie didn't show up today, so that's right. It's all right.
Under the bus.
We don't need Lockie. If he doesn't want to show up, we don't need him, okay? We don't need him, okay? But no, we love all the co-hosts. They're spectacular. But no one is better than Miranda Templeman. That is what we have established on this show.
I'll allow it.
Exactly. But no, great to speak to Alex Epakis and get his
Lovely man.
Not trying to be a fashion icon, but he is a fashion icon in the Dub.
When you're not even trying.
That's
how you know
that's
you're
what I
good.
aspire to be. I'm not trying, but I am.
Whoops, here we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. People can't help but notice.
Exactly. Yeah. But thank you everybody for joining us here on Radio Dub this evening. And if you missed any of the show, missed the Charlotte Mclean interview earlier on, you'll catch that on Spotify. And if you Spotify or anywhere, really. Anywhere. And if you missed the Alex Epakis interview that we just had, they'll also be up, and we'll put the full show up as well. And we will be back next week. I don't know if we'll be back on Thursday, potentially Tuesday, just because the Matildas game is on Thursday. So, But I also probably shouldn't say the Radio Dub will be back, because the consistency of this show this season has not been the best. But we've hit when we've come back. We have.
It's absolutely. Yeah. We've been saving it up, saving up the energy, and then unleashing it. But
I won't prolong this outro. But thank you everybody for joining us here on Radio Dub. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.
Pickett, she lays it off. Teresa Polias. It's an absolute peach. Is driving. What a hit from Melina Reyes. Wow. And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick. Beat him up. 1-0. This is a bump fest. Someone's fucking drunk. Yo, I bust them in the eye. And then I'll take the pump home. Feel it? Pumpkin, absolutely jumping. I got more rhymes to the top than a Dunkin' Donut shop. Showing up, I got pop. The kids on the hill. My mom and my pop. I came to get
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.